This video is made by C2C Suffolk Senior Children in Care Council, including illustrations by Brighter Futures, Suffolk Junior Children in Care Council from Nick Shower's illustration workshop. This film is made by care experienced young people based on their experiences to raise awareness in schools about children in care and how they can be supported and better understood by staff and fellow students.
I can make my world come true, all my dreams will see me through, and if that will get me down, my dreams will turn things all around. With a smile upon my face, I can see a better place. Doesn't matter what may come my way, believe me now, I'll win someday.
Reasons why children come into care. Children do not come into care because they are misbehaved. It's never the child's fault. It's not because my parents don't love me. It's often because they have their own struggles. This could be with things like drugs or alcohol, addiction, or mental health difficulties. Many children in care still have visits with their families. Often this happens at the weekends or in the school holidays. If a child is having a bad Monday morning or a first day back after a holiday, it might be because they're seeing their family has upset them. Things you might not know about children in care. Children in care can live in a foster home, a children's home, or sometimes with wider family or friends. Sometimes children come into care because a parent or parents have died. Please remember this on things like Mother's Day or Father's Day, not just for those children who have lost a parent, but for all children in care. Anniversaries can be difficult too. If a child or young person is having a difficult day, try and find out why. How children in care can be supported in school.
My name's Charlotte and this is Miss Cooper, or Julie Cooper.
I was your key worker, so we met up and just started to get to know each other. We used to meet at sort of breaks and lunch times, didn't we?
Yeah, they were like the best sort of times to meet up, really.
It was just a case of checking in and saying, yeah, everything's okay today, or something went wrong yesterday, or and how are we going to sort of manage this today?
Yeah, and it didn't just have to be about school. It could be about home life as well. If I had something that had happened the night before, I would come in the morning and go straight to Miss Cooper. You were always there for me. And I knew after a while I could trust you because there were a lot of people in my life and I didn't really know who I could trust.
One of the things I was concerned about was a couple of times you changed where you were living and the continuity was school, really.
Yeah.
And I think, and the relationships you had in school, because you had good relationships with lots of staff in school, didn't you?
Yeah.
It wasn't just me. That was really important because sometimes it felt like you had to sever relationships in other places where you couldn't see people anymore once you'd moved on.
Yeah.
And I think we all felt that wasn't real life in a way because relationships do go on, so it was important for us that we kept that there.
If a social worker did come in, I remember Miss Jeb or Mr. Keys used to, subtly knock on the door and be like, can I have Charlotte, please? They wouldn't say why.
Yeah.
And they'll say, can you bring your stuff if they know that you're going to be there a really long time, but they wouldn't ever say why.
Because we had a key worker system, staff should know who each student's key worker is. And it's not just children in care that have key workers, it's lots of different children for lots of different reasons. So we never had a problem with people saying, oh, well, you can't make special arrangements for this child.
A lot of things is down to trust. Like if you really trust someone in schools, definitely stick with that person. If it's just a little bit of advice or you need help with work, they're there to help. So use that help and it will benefit. It always does. And it definitely benefited me, trusting that they're going to help you and that you were always there for me.
Yeah, you're amazingly resilient. So
that's me.
This is how children in care can be supported in school. Key people for the child or young person to go to in school are so important. People they have a good relationship with and trust. Children and young people in care can move around a lot and have lots of different people who come and go in their lives. School can be the one consistency in a child's life. Children and young people in care are amazingly resilient. They've had to and continue to cope with a lot.
How teachers can support children in care. No matter our differences, time is the key to unlocking hearts. Here are some of the ways teachers can support pupils.
Please don't announce that my social worker is here or it's time for my meeting in front of the whole class. Similarly, if your classmate has been to a meeting, don't ask them all about it. Let them talk out about it if they want to. Please ask people not to make assumptions just because I'm in care. Everyone in care is different and is in care for different reasons. Sometimes it would be nice to be seen as a normal teenager. Children and young people in care have a personal education plan meeting, or PEP. Teachers, please plan the meeting with the young person. Perhaps prepare a PowerPoint to show them at a meeting with them. The meeting doesn't have to be about filling in a form. That can be done outside the meeting. The meeting can be more positive and useful. Just like every child, bullying is something that many children in care experience. Sometimes the things that children in care are bullied about can bring up things that are really painful, especially if it's about their family. Our reactions to the bullying can sometimes reflect this. Having the right person to talk to is really important. It might not always be the designated teacher who's best suited, but that's okay. Just help us to find the best person for us, someone who we feel able to talk to and who just has time to listen to us. Just because I'm quiet and well behaved, don't assume I'm okay. Give me some time and space to talk if I need to. Please don't link everything to me being in care, when sometimes it might just be normal teenager behaviour. If there's a regular disruptive behaviour, try to find out why. Look at what's going on in that child's life. Don't just send the child out of the classroom to isolation. Give them time to talk about how they're feeling. Please be willing to spend time to listen. You don't know how big an impact that one conversation could have. One teacher or person in school saying the right thing at the right time can make a life-changing difference. Please help us to thrive now we're in care and make the most of the opportunities we're given. Help fill the gaps of the things we've missed out on before. Celebrate our achievements with us. We filmed some of our C2C group discussing their experiences of care and reflections looking back.
So school was my safe space. I thought, for me, that's more important to know where I'm going to go, where I'm going to head off to, than my education at the time.
You're there to learn kind of thing. So it's really kind of disrupting on both parts. Like if you're in school trying to learn and then a teacher comes in and says, you know, your social worker's here, what do you got that potential embarrassment of, oh, you know, these people didn't know I had a social worker.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Do you think Tracy Beaker's programmes then give a bad look on children's homes?
Oh yeah, 100%. They're glamorising it.
As an adult, yes. As a young person, that can be very, very kind of, not influencing, but kind of enticing in a sense. Because what it's meant to do, it's meant to give the aspect of, if you're in care and you watch Tracy Beaker, it's meant to show you that it's not all dark and rain. I get why they do it. It is to promote the positive aspects of it. But as an adult looking back on it, you can see how they're glamorising it.
I'd say a lot of people make that assumption as well when you're having a shared accommodation, like YMCA. When I was in the share housing and I explained to people what it was like, they were saying it was like a teenage, more adult version of it. And I was like, well, not really. I kind of see it as a university house share. That's how I saw it.
So you said you went and you had lots of homes around the country? Well,
71 in total.
71?
71 different placements I've been to, yeah.
Kind of, how do you kind of maintain relationships or build up relationships when you... Yeah, you
I used to just shut myself away because every time I did build a relationship with like a staff member or something, I'd leave or they'd leave.
That is really such a good point. A big thing is knowing that you are safe and that somebody is going to stick there, because even if you don't get on with them, but they stay by your side, it is such a warming thing. Because for a lot of people that don't have family, or you know, people tend to leave or they get passed around a lot, it sucks. It's really hard to build a relationship. So for people that really do stick there, and like Tash said, you know, when she says I'm staying here and I'm not leaving, that means the world, and it really does. It's such a phenomenon that someone can stick there and create such a good wavelength for you to progress. It really does benefit.
You said that earlier, didn't you, about school as well, didn't you? Actually having a key person in school, knowing that, and that was important to you. I know you didn't go all the time, but when you did go, that was having that
having that teacher that you could rely to or rely on even.
Now I'm quite open about it because I'm like, why should I be ashamed of it? Like, at the end of the day, it's just something that happened. It's just life. personally for me, I would not have had a better life than I have now if I stayed at home. I have a more successful future as I was now if I was to stay.
This is a poem about leaving care. This is written by me and other fellow people that are currently or are leaving care. And this is generally how I feel about being in care and talking about stereotypes. Glamorized care. Life is you get judged quite a bit. I wanted attention, but I got depression. If you feel like you're not fine, it's okay, you can just call Childline. Have a hot bath, have a hot cup of tea. But can you see that does not actually help me? My mental health is chronic, but I think I'm pretty iconic. Care might not be the place you want to be, but when you're 18, you are free to a certain extent. Tracy Beaker is on TV, but that is not reality. This is something that you do not glamorize. This is our everyday life. Some social workers are really not that fun, but at least we know they actually get the job done. Understanding is what we need. We don't ask for much. We really don't plead. And we are not weak. We have a future we want to see. Thank you.